So recently in my spare time, I've been following the researchers of the game Garry's Mod. I'm sure you've seen the people use this horror next bot to create these thriller chase scenes that are quite frankly really entertaining to watch, and it's exposed the game to many people who otherwise would never have even heard about it. And I just find it crazy because this was the last game that I expected to make some sort of like comeback in 2022. You know, and I'm not trying to talk crazy on Garry's Mod, you feel me? I respect it for the GOAT game that it is. But prior to this trend, Garry's Mod was not talked about as much as it is now compared to like the mid 2010s. So seeing all of this happen made me want to talk about a little bit of Garry's Mod's history and, you know, its impact that it has on me, because when I first got into PC gaming, Garry's Mod was the first game that I played, and in fact it was the only game that I had to play at the time. But I'm gonna get into that just a little later. First, we gonna deep dive into Garry's Mod, the original Sandbox game. In 2004, Garry Newman designed a mod for the popular game at the time, Half-Life 2. The mod was simple. It allowed the player to have sandbox control of the characters and objects within Valve's source engine, which led to limitless possibilities. You were able to spawn NPCs, edit characters, edit the world. You basically had the whole source engine in your hand. And it definitely became popular among the Half-Life fanbase. The mod got so popular that in 2006, Garry Newman decided to release a full standalone version of the game under his company Facepunch Studios. So now it went from a mod for a separate game to its own standalone game. Keep in mind that this was 2006, so the amount of games like this, sandbox games in general, was pretty low, and none had come to the heights that Gmod will come to reach in the future years. So with the release of the standalone version, over the next few years the game received major updates and was expanded upon with the introduction of add-ons. These add-ons allowed the players to be able to bring their own content into the game. The game could be anything that you wanted it to be. If you wanted to do races, you could spawn cars. If you wanted to have an NPC war, you could spawn as many NPCs as your 2010 Windows XP could handle. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. And it only got better with the inclusion of multiplayer. So now you could share the wackiness with your friends. Now you had servers with set game modes and different maps for all types of different styles of playing. You could roleplay, do death runs, watch a movie. It's safe to say that there wasn't a program that at that point nobody had ever seen before. And by the mid 2010s, Garry's Mod became more than just a standalone mod for a game, but a hub for communities of many people. And it set the standard for how versatile any sandbox game should be, to which I don't even think has been topped yet to this day. Like, it's not even close when you really think about it. Because if there's anything that you can think of or create, Garry's Mod allowed you to let your imagination run wild. So fast forward to 2017. It's my 7th grade year, and my dad, for my birthday, had bought me a new MacBook. Well, it wasn't new, like it was from 2008, but you know, it was new to me, so I cherished it like it was new. A matter of fact, I still have it here at all times, man. As you can see, it took a beating over the years. It hasn't been well kept, obviously. All it does is collect dust now, but at one point, this was what I used to game on daily. It was how I edited videos, how I did everything that involved using a computer. So always be grateful for what you got, man, because there's a lot worse out there. Like that. So that was the first laptop that I had that could somewhat run games, so that's how I got into PC gaming. By this time, I had knew about Garry's Mod through the YouTuber Vanoss Gaming, which I know a lot of us had, man. That's the good old days of YouTube right there. So I knew what it was and its impact that it had on gaming culture. I also knew that my 2008 MacBook was limited to the amount of games that I could run on it. Which, by the way, man, don't ever play on a MacBook. Like, don't ever game on a MacBook. Don't make that your main system, please. The only people that main on a MacBook are rich people and people that play Mojang. But back to the laptop, I knew that the first game that I wanted to buy was Garry's Mod, because how could it not? That's a steal when you really think about it. You're getting a million games, game modes, all in one game. So one day I went down to Walgreens, copped my first $20 Steam card, and went home and copped Garry's Mod. I played this game religiously, day and night, from Sandbox to the multiplayer servers. There was one night I played on a jail RP server for 10 hours straight, and I think that's the longest like session I've have been like to this day. That's actually crazy. Like, I can barely game for 5 hours, let alone, I don't know how I did 10. I was a crack addict back then. Even back in 2018, me and my friend Eric, who's a streamer by the way, Galaxy Vibing, y'all should follow him. I remember we would play with these horror next box, you know, the same way that people are playing with them today. You know, we just spawn them and then try to run away and see who can survive the longest. I think that might be another reason why it's so entertaining for me to watch, man, because it just brings me back, you know. But now the game is pure nostalgia for me whenever I play it, because I just get reminded of how it was the only thing that I had when I didn't have any other game. Even 2 years ago, I went back to the game and created this mini cinematic series on my second channel, which y'all should check out if you feel me, you wanna get some good cinematic in your life. But needless to say, I made memories on this game, and all I can do is speak positively about it. I don't think that there's another PC game that I'd recommend for any person regardless of their favorite genre other than Gmod. Like, if there's something in gaming that you enjoy, it's most likely on here, and if not, there's gonna be somebody who's crazy enough to create it. So yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this little breakdown, you feel me? I hope y'all learned something today if, you know, you're clueless about Garry's Mod. And yeah, man, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.